Story 2. The gas station at mile 47. Ethan had been on the road since sunrise, driving alone to visit his family across the state. The highway stretched endlessly through the desert, nothing but dry brush and silence on either side. As night fell, he realized he was running low on gas. His GPS showed only one station for miles, at a place called Mile 47. He pulled off the empty highway toward a flickering neon sign that buzzed like a trapped fly. The gas station looked old, abandoned, almost, but there was light inside. A single pump leaned at an angle like it had been hit before. He stepped out of his car, the dry wind whistling across the lot. The moment he started fueling up, he noticed something off. There were no other cars. No sound except a faint creak of the sign above. Inside the small store, the air smelled stale and heavy. A tall man stood behind the counter, staring at Ethan without blinking. "Pump 3, Ethan said, his voice shaky. The man's lips curled into a thin smile. "That one's been broken for years," he said slowly. But Ethan was sure he had just used it. He felt a chill crawl up his neck. Trying to stay calm, he laughed nervously. "Maybe it's fixed now." The man didn't answer. He just tilted his head, watching him like a predator sizing up prey. Ethan quickly grabbed a drink from the fridge and walked back outside, but the pump screen was blank now. His car hadn't filled at all. The fuel gauge still blinked empty. Panic rose in his chest. He turned back toward the door, but the lights inside the store were out now. The man was gone. He stepped backward, slowly, listening to the wind whistle through the empty lot. Then he heard a soft, scraping sound behind the building. Something or someone was moving. He climbed into the car, turned the key, and floored the gas pedal. The engine sputtered, but didn't start. His hands were slick with sweat now. Another sound closer, this time like something dragging across gravel. He turned his head just in time to see a pale face staring at him through the side mirror. A pair of hands slowly pressed against the glass. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. He locked the doors and kept turning the key until the engine finally roared to life. When he looked back again, the figure was gone. He didn't wait another second. He sped off down the highway, the neon light fading behind him, out. When he stopped at another station, 30 minutes later, the attendant looked at him strangely. "There hasn't been a gas station at mile 47 in over a decade," the man said. "It burned down. Everyone who worked there died inside." Ethan drove the rest of the night without stopping again. Story 3. The van that followed us, it started as a harmless road trip. Sarah and her younger brother Daniel were driving across the country to visit their aunt. They packed snacks, made a playlist, and hit the highway before sunrise. Everything felt exciting at first, but somewhere around the border of a small town, a white van pulled in behind them. At first, she thought it was just another car on the road, but every time she changed lanes, the van did too. Every turn, every stoplight, it stayed right behind them. Hours passed, and the van never once tried to pass. Her hands tightened on the steering wheel as unease spread through her chest like cold water. She told Daniel to keep an eye on it, but he shrugged it off. "You're just being paranoid," he said. But when they pulled into a rest stop, the van parked a few spaces behind them. She could feel eyes watching as they got out to stretch. A man in a dark hoodie sat in the driver's seat, unmoving, staring at their car. Sarah whispered to Daniel to get back in the car. She pretended to be calm, but her heart was racing. As soon as they hit the highway again, the van pulled out and followed. It kept the same distance every time, never getting closer, never falling back. She called the police, but the line kept dropping. The area had no reliable service. She tried to speed up, but so did the van. She slowed down, and it matched her pace perfectly. Daniel was pale now, realizing she wasn't imagining it. When they entered a long stretch of road with no lights, the van's headlights suddenly turned off. Her rearview mirror went dark. Panic set in like a tightening fist. She pressed harder on the gas, her pulse hammering. Then, out of nowhere, the van reappeared, right on their bumper, its brights blinding them. Daniel screamed as the van lurched forward, almost ramming them. Sarah swerved into the opposite lane, desperately trying to lose it. A turnoff appeared ahead, a narrow dirt road into the woods. Without thinking, she took it. The van didn't follow this time. She drove deep into the trees, killed the engine, and sat in silence. Minutes passed. Then, faintly, she heard tires crunching gravel. Headlights swept through the trees. The van had found them. The next thing she remembered was waking up in her aunt's driveway at dawn. Her car was parked neatly, keys still in the ignition. Daniel was asleep beside her. There was no sign of the van, but in the trunk, someone had scratched 3 words into the paint. "See you again?"